Project pricing is a key component to all projects. Let's take a look at how we define project cost prices and sales prices. All right, one other feature that I wanted to cover around sales prices are the sales price models. I've had a lot of questions on this topic over the years. So there are 4 different sales price models that you can define, and behind each one I'm showing the calculation. So quantity, that's the one that we've already looked at. Quantity is whatever rate you put in there. That is just on a per unit basis. So you put a 300 and you try and post hours for that rate, it's going to be $300 per hour. Contribution ratio takes into account the cost price and the contribution ratio percentage that you define. So we'll take a look at that. Charges percentage, this is where I get a majority of the questions, and the question generically is, does AX have cost price pricing? And the answer is yes. You can use this charges percentage to do that, which is basically you define a percentage and then it marks the sales price up based on the cost price. And then there's the charges amount, where the system will look at the cost price and just tack on the amount that you want to that cost price for a sales price. So let's jump into AX and take a look. So I'm gonna back up a step here. So I'm in a project 92 called City Manufacturing, and I defined some cost prices that are project specific. So they're all towards this project 92, as you can see over here, because it shows project 92 in the project ID field, and they all have a $100 cost price for administration, consulting, design, and ERP development. So if I back up again and go look at the sales prices under hours, you can see that I defined sales prices for each one of those specific categories. So, and these just demonstrate the 4 different sales price models. So administration is of quantity type, and it's $200 per unit. The consulting category uses the contribution ratio of 20%. Design uses the sales price model of charges percentage or cost plus of 30%, and then the ERP dev tacks $50 onto the cost price. So if we look at this right now, a 20% contribution margin, that would be $125. A markup of 30% would be $130, and then a charges amount would be $150. So we'll go take a look at creating a journal here. So I'm just going to jump into an hours journal. And I'll pick our city manufacturing project, and I'll pick a category of administration, and we'll just say 10 hours or whatever, it doesn't matter. But if we go look at the general tab, this is where we expect to see our pricing of 200. And I'm going to open up another instance here so you can review this with me. Project, and we'll go hours. So that just dropped to the background. Okay, so we can see that, yep, it was $200 an hour for the administrative category, and we can see administration here, and we can see $200 there. That's great. So now if we go to consulting, basically the consulting contribution ratio, we had set at 20%, and if we pull up a calculator, it should be 100 times your cost price, and we know our cost price was 100, which equals 10,000, and then it should be divided by 100 minus your contribution ratio. So 100 minus 20 is 80, equals 125. So as soon as I flip this category to consulting, we should see $125 pull in there. And then we did the cost plus as the design category, so it should increase the cost by 30% for the sales price. So there's our $100 cost price, 30% of that is $30, so it adds that onto the 100, there's 130. And then we have the charges, which is the ERP dev category, and we just add $50 onto the cost price. So those are just the 4 sales price models, just wanted to show you how they work together. So I hope that helps.